Shabbat Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles of GMS, including the elders that came before them that taught us this truth. Shabbat Shalom and salutations to all our brothers out pushing the word of truth and in sincerity. The hopeful elect tabernacle of David. I'm the brother Yahshua. Back with a lesson here. All right, going into the forces, if you will. Okay, because in World War III, the reason for World War III is so that the Most High is drawing the armies of the world. Let's get Joel real quick here. The Most High is bringing the nations. I will gather the nations, Joel 3 and 2. I will gather the nations, bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Why? Right here in New Living, I will gather the armies of the world. Okay, so for your nation, your protection, okay, is your military. Every nation has a military except for Israel, of course, and I'm talking about you Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. We don't have a military. Our military is the Most High and the angels. We just don't know that. We haven't connected back to that yet, all right? So what the Most High is going to do in World War III, he's going to take away the protection of the nations, okay? Right here it says, I will gather all nations. What he really means is, I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. For what? To destroy them so that you can control the nations at that point, okay? Because once they don't have a military or a protection force, then it's easier to control, you know, or do whatever what your intentions are, because they have no more protection. Okay, so with that being said, on a national level, not on a world level, but on a national level, here in Babylon the Great, what's going on? The Most High is bringing down the protection of within Babylon, which is the police department, okay, the sheriffs and whatnot. All right, so Salaki, bear with me. What am I looking at? Right here in 2nd Ezra 15. All right, we'll read 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords. And now, how can they do that if this place was on lockdown? Okay, so this devil has a plan. He wants to destroy his enterprise known as America. And what they have to do is they have to create chaos and then try to bring it to order. The order will be in the form of the UN or these other troops that they bring in, not the police. First, they have to let it go to hell. How do you do that? You make the police withdraw. All right? For there shall be sedition among men and invading. How do you get that? If the police were there to come to the rescue, you can't have this, right? They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Kings or princes goes to the top presidents and lower governors and mayors and police chiefs, okay, would fall under kings or princes. But there is going to be lawlessness out here because the police are being done away with right now. Defund the police. You can't continue to work unless you can show proof of mandatory whatever, right? And the course of their actions shall stand in the power. They're going to be powerful now because nobody is going to put them in prison or jail for going out and invading one another, all right? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for because of their pride the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword. All right, you can't do that now because, I mean, what is left of the police department is still in place. So you just can't go out and kill somebody willy-nilly. But as they pull the police back further and further, that's going to allow for chaos in the streets. And that's what they are, that's part of their plan, is to let this thing spiral into lawlessness, which is the chaos. And then the order would be to bring in the UN troops or the Chinese or the whoever they got, you know, not even the National Guard, because they're not going to, what are they going to do to their own people? They're not. And spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. So they have all of this stuff is planned, okay? Chaos in the street is planned. The famine is planned, right? And it's all part of their grand plan to, what do they call it? Phoenix rising out of the ashes, if you will. Okay? So with that, we're going to watch this this video. Got to grab it from here. Bear with me. Let's watch this, and it goes into everything that the police have been doing wrong. Okay? From racism. Okay, so this is RT, America, was Russia Today in America channel. And we'll find out when this was. Police across the U.S. refuse. Let's look at it.
Do you know where you're...
Okay. October 19th, which is yesterday, I believe. Or today. Is today the 19th? Today's the 20th, so this is yesterday. Police across the U.S. refuse that thing, okay? And this is all by design, right? To get the police to stand down. You got women being raped on a train in front of everybody. You got women getting knocked the hell out with the knockout game or whatever. Violence. This is just the beginning of shit spiraling completely out of control. So let me get beyond this real quick. And we'll see what they have to say here.
There are police officers in Chicago, Seattle, Los Angeles, and other big cities nationwide are...
And it's already crazy in Chicago. Okay, all you got to do is get rid of the police, and then they got free reign. And they know that. They're waiting.
pushing back against the COVID vaccine mandate. As deadlines loom over police departments, Chicago now faces a law enforcement shortage as officers are being placed on no-pay leave for not disclosing their vaccination status. Ashley Banks is joining us now with more on this. Ashley?
That's right, Manila. So Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, she announced in August that all city workers would have to be fully vaccinated by October 15th, which was last week. She said if they weren't vaccinated, then they would face unspecified consequences. So,
okay, they're going to lose their job and not get their pension and all of that. You're going to be made, really you're slated for death. If you're not rolling with the NWO, you're slated for death. And they're slowly revealing that, right? Not, okay, you can't work no more or you can't go into the grocery store. No, we're coming to kill you, all right?
here we are 4 days post that deadline, and a small number of police officers in Chicago have been placed on a no-pay status after failing to follow that mandate. Now, the city's president of Fraternal Order of Police, he's been outspoken and believes forcing officers to be vaccinated will cause more officers to either resign or be placed on no-pay status. He says this mandate isn't an issue of safety, but an issue of power. He stated he believes that Lightfoot is going on a power trip. However, so essentially he believes that officers do not need to comply with this mandate. He even sent a letter to officers instructing them on what to say if they're questioned by their superiors.
Okay, though this is clearly America, Satan coming against Satan. All right, and we'll bring that out when this is over.
The letter stated Complying with this invalid order and the violation of my bargaining, constitutional and civil rights has furthermore caused me severe anxiety while challenging both my religious and moral beliefs. Manila, many law enforcement members across the nation, like you said, are pushing back against these mandates. They think it's unnecessary.
Well, Ashley, let me ask you this. How are other police departments across the country dealing with these similar vaccine mandates?
So, as we know, more than 20 states, they've implemented some form of vaccine mandate for state employees, and that includes police officers and firefighters and other city workers. But in Massachusetts, at least 150 officers have resigned because they didn't want to adhere to their state's vaccine mandate. And then we go back to Oregon and Washington State, where some of those officers, they are slated to lose their jobs this week if they do not adhere to these vaccine mandates. And this is bad news for Seattle because hundreds of officers have left the force already. Because
hundreds of officers have left the force already. So as you can see, this is coming from the top down. The Most High is setting the stage for great chaos, not just Esau. See, Esau has his part to play, but everything comes down from the top, which starting at the top is starting with Yahweh. And then Bahashim Yahweh Shai, right? Bahashim Kadash, and then everybody falls into order, right? The Most High is not the author of confusion, so we know it's him doing this. And this is what he's doing and why, because chaos has to come. So how is it going to come? You got to pull back the control measure. The police have had some sort of control for the longest, and now they're being made to stand down, all right, which is going to bring chaos. People are already emboldened. I could rape a woman on the train, and nobody's going to do nothing. They're going to call 911 for what? Or I could steal on a bitch because she may be mad in traffic or whatever, right? And there were consequences at that point, but the time is coming where you can get away with anything because look what's happening to the force. The force is being reduced.
Want to comply with the vaccine. And as I read from reports, in the coming weeks and even coming months, we could see a mass exodus from other officers and departments across the nation because they just don't want to adhere to the vaccine mandate.
So you can see the perfect storm is moving in.
Ella?
Yeah, there's still a shortage before COVID of people wearing the badge. Ashley Banks, thank you so much for filing that report.
You're welcome.
All right, for perspective, let's bring in our panel today. Dominic Izzo, he's a former police officer in Illinois and author of the book Before the Badge, Everything You Need to Know Before Becoming a Cop, and retired Chief Deputy U.S. Marshal Matthew Fogg.
Okay, this is an interesting dissertation about to go on. The first guy's going to come out, he's going to break down what the hell is going on, you know, from a almost righteous standpoint. He's going to get on Lightfoot and say why she was put in place. And I mean, first of all, a woman is not supposed to be in charge of anything. And then a lesbian is supposed to be, you know what, put to. And this guy is going to bring up racism. It's everything is being, the stage is being set for chaos. And they're complaining about them being phased out, right? They're going to give reasons, right, as to what's going on. They're upset about it because at one time they were upon the force. Look at this guy, 1, 2, he's got 4. He's a 4-star general in the fucking police department, or was, or whatever. If he's retired, what is he doing with his uniform? Some pomp and circumstance.
To see you both. Dominic, let me go over to you first. Since you are closest to the action in Chicago, Mayor Lightfoot seems to be playing hardball with the officers who are defying the vax mandate. She's threatening to cancel everyone's PTO, their vacation days, and putting unvaxxed officers on unpaid leave. How do you foresee this playing out?
Very badly. This is what happens when you get somebody who's unqualified to lead a city.
Now, did they do that? And she's being told what to do. He's breaking it down. He's saying, hey, hell is coming to this place. They're doing everything wrong. but they're doing everything right for the men of the Lord. We want to see this thing happen yesterday.
Was clearly voted in for her gender, her race, and her sexual orientation, leading a department that she has no idea how to lead. This is a union issue. It's a union issue, and in our state alone, we've had so much conflicting information from the powers that be, like our Governor Pritzker refusing to comply with his own mandates. Mayor Lori Lightfoot just the other day didn't comply with her own mandate. Our Director of Public Health back last year had talked about that the COVID deaths contribution numbers were askew. So our state, among many others, has such massive misinformation that when you force police to comply with something that truly hasn't been clarified yet, this is not going to go well for her, especially for her reelection. So I think she bit off way more than she could chew. She clearly hates the police. She's made that evident since her tenure in office. I don't see this going very well for her at all.
Matthew, what's your take on this? The city is even going one step further in trying to silence dissent of the vaccine mandate order. The mayor also filed a new complaint against the police union there, barring the president, John Catanzara, from even speaking about this issue publicly.
That's clearly Egyptians versus Egyptians. They're imploding. They're eating their own right now.
Will this gag order help or hurt her case?
Oh,
$20 million.
Slovakia. Bear with me on the commercial. Here we go.
Well, let me just first say this. When you're talking about Chicago Police Department, I mean, when I read the reports that how there's a lot of racism there and problems they were having in law enforcement and how they were selective enforcement, when I look at a situation like this, people talk about reform and how do we reform these police departments? Well, wow, I don't believe in forcing somebody to take the vaccine. I definitely don't believe in that, but sometimes God works in mysterious ways. And I just believe that maybe...
You didn't bring up God? His name is Yahweh. And he is, it's mysterious to you, but we know exactly what's going on.
But sometimes God works in mysterious ways. And I just believe that maybe in a way, when something like this occurs and the government is saying, this is what we want you to do, I mean, the government has the right to do that. They have a right to enforce laws. But when you got unions, which I've never really been a part or felt like the unions cared about all law enforcement, I just think they care about certain, when we talk about law enforcement, talking about white law enforcement. Black law enforcement, people like myself and citizens have gotten a different treatment when it comes down to the union. So when it comes down to her mandating and saying, this is what we want people to do, and if you work for the government, again, that's her right. I don't believe that you should force people to take something to their system that they don't believe in. But again, she has to run the government. She has to do it her way. So I see here there's this divide, but again, I see the racial issue as a bigger issue in Chicago.
Dominic, I see you had a visceral response to this. I'll let you reply.
I didn't know that this COVID attacks different races different ways. And if that's the case, then are we saying since Lori Lightfoot is a black female that she's punishing purposely maybe a majority of white police officers? This is why law enforcement will never change, because this broken record of racism and divide is the central topic for every single talking point out there. What you're looking at is a woman who won a vote of a town of 2.7 million people. She won her election not by, but with 386,000 votes, which shows the majority of the people didn't even vote. This woman is not qualified. She's in over her head. Police unions don't arbitrarily say, hey, we're just not going to comply. They have teams of lawyers letting their union president know what they can do and what they can say and what they can't say, and they're playing by the rules.
Babylon must be destroyed. This is ridiculous.
This is what this is. If this is racism and this is how stupidly we're moving forward, then we deserve everything we get coming.
And it's coming.
Sure.
Listen,
go ahead, Matthew.
Reports are already out there where Chicago police officers reported about how they falsely charged so many African Americans in that department. That wasn't because of that mayor.
Esau tried to say, what? There's no racism. This isn't about racism. This is about COVID. Motherfucker, who's out there supposedly getting killed? All right? Or shooting each other supposedly? Or how many masks does Esau have manufactured to go out there and pull that thing off so they can deflect and use that to obfuscate?
Because, as you said, the way the racial divide has been in law enforcement for decades, and I've watched it. I was a member there. I saw how I was treated different from you. So that's what I'm trying to say to you. When it comes down to
see them fighting each other, you got two ex-cops or whatever they are, right? They're fighting within the ranks right here. All right. So not only, right, there's so many issues involved, and what is this? This is the division that the Most High is bringing. All right. Let me hear a little more of this.
how we deal with law enforcement, the whole issue has been how do we reform law enforcement? Now we've got this COVID thing. No, I'm not saying COVID has a race issue on it, but I'm just saying when you look at the fact that officers are saying to the command, we don't want to do what you're telling us to do. It's the same thing we saw in New York City when they turned their back on the mayor up in New York City. Half the department had no right to do that, but they did it. So what people are seeing today is when these officers are in control, they say we don't want to work. We don't work. When they say we're going to slow down, we're going to slow down. When we want to lock up the wrong people, we're going to do it. And somebody needs to take control of these law enforcement departments. That's what I'm saying.
I can see how this is tied to the issue of police reform broadly across the country. But when it comes to these vaccine mandates, and specifically in Chicago, Dominic, historically, we know that crime stats spike during the summer months. We're going to hit a lull here in these colder months. Now that we're entering fall, can Chicago do with just about, it looks like half of its police force going on unpaid leave?
They can't do with their full police report. We're at the 19th day in October. We have 211 shootings. That's 11.7 people shot per day, and that's only shootings. You're not reporting on the carjackings, the stabbings, the rapes, the robberies, the violence, the retail theft. No, the city cannot survive. And to be 100%.
Shit spiraling out of control. And that's the point. The point of this video is shit is spiraling out of control. Why? The police are being made to stand down. All right, so let's get, I believe, Amos 2. It's KJV. Let's see. Maybe it's not Amos 2. Let me see. Amos 3 and 6, all right? Because this is where it's coming from the top down. Let's prove that. Amos 3 and 6, shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in a city and the Lord hath not done it? All right? And there it is. The Most High is the puppet master of all. Okay? This is what the Most High is doing. He's bringing chaos. Okay? Is there not evil? Did you just hear what this man just said? All right? Let me back that up just a hair. Who's doing this? The Most High is doing it.
Police report. We're at the 19th day in October. We have 211 shootings. That's 11.7 people shot per day, and that's only shootings. You're not reporting on the carjackings, the stabbings, the rapes, the robberies, the violence, the retail theft. No, the city cannot survive. And to be 100%.
The Most High is bringing it. The Most High hath not done it.
This might be a very, very valuable teaching lesson for anybody who steps forward to run this city.
Okay, good enough. Let's get some more over here. Let's get Second Ezra's, all right? Let's go up here. Start at 10. This is Second Ezra's 15, yes, and 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt. Talking about the elect. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt is talking about, in this case, Babylon the Great, which is also America. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that the Most High shall bring. Who's bringing it? The Most High shall bring upon it. Okay, jump down here. We just read that. Okay, so let's get some more on Egypt and what the hell is going on in Egypt right now. All right. This is Isaiah. Isaiah 19 and 1. Okay. The burden of Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. That's that chariot. And shall come into Egypt, America. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence. The heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. That's what's going on now. The heart is the mind. These Egyptians are losing their minds. All right. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. We clearly see that in the video. All right. This guy versus this guy. Race was brought into it. He tried to downplay. Well, wait a minute. Where do they point to when they want to say, well, crime and crime? Well, it's about the black people in Chicago. But suddenly, that's not a factor in what the hell is going on. Fuck out of here. All right? And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother. What is it? The brotherhood? What is it? The fraternal order, brotherhood of what is the police? Brotherhood of police. And everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Right here. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. That's what we see in the video. The spirit of Egypt. All right. Land of the free and home of the brave and all that bullshit. The land of the land of the slave. What do you call it? And I will destroy the counsel. These fools are completely dismayed. And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. All right? So we can see Egypt being confused in the land of confusion. All right? The heart, the mind of Egypt is failing. All right? Now let's go back to Second Ezra. We'll go to 16. Get a couple more and go ahead and break it down. Let's start right here at the top. Woe be unto thee, Babylon. What's that? That's Babylon the Great. It's America and Asia. Woe be unto thee, Egypt. That's America. All right. And Syria. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. A sword is sent upon you, and who may send it back? All right. A fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you. And what is he that may drive them away? Okay. Behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. You don't see these plagues out here? They're arguing back and forth about what this plague or this health scare, if you will, is doing. What is it doing? They're using that as a premise to fire half of the fucking police force. 17, jump down to 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famine. We got that famine and great death, the beginning of wars. And the powers shall stand in fear. They see what's going on. The beginning of evils. Shall evil be done in the city, and the Most High hath not done it? What shall I do when these evils shall come? All right. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. All right. I want to get way down here. All right. Because here's what's coming. All right. Because there ain't no slave catcher no more. All right. Women are getting raped on the train and getting knocked out at stop sign. Jump down to 70, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. They're going to bring them Gurkha troops in there because they made the police stand down. The chaos ensued. They're going to beg for a resolution. Please, please, you have to do something. They're going to bring in the troops. They shall be like madmen. You got to bring in the troops. For what? You jakes are the target. But still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. That's the elect. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Here we are. All right. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord. Behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you. Who's you? The elect of Israel are going to be delivered from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide. All right, so here's where we are. You see these stand down orders coming, or you're getting fired for virtually for no reason. You were able to do what you did for the last 2 years, all right, without getting jabbed, but now you have to get jabbed, and they're dividing, all right? The Most High is bringing that division. So with that, I hope that the elect were edified with this lesson. And until the next one, Shabbat Shalom.